But yes, the big question about Gava, broad-based government, Baba, and the other question I'm asking, and it's a question we've actually, discussed in this studio, about ODM being Raila and Raila being ODM.
Yes. You see, now you've asked two questions.
Yeah.
Okay? Believe me, not much will happen to those fellows who've been appointed.
Okay.
Not really. Because...
Are you sure?
Well, you asked me a question, I'm answering it.
Yeah.
The reason why not much will happen is this. They still represent a voting bloc. They don't represent a solid voting bloc that one saw under a particular leader, but they still represent a voting bloc. Yes.
Yeah. Interesting. A couple of, a couple of other comments. I will be reading them by day as we go on. You can let us know your thoughts about this particular situation. Give us your comments. We'll definitely sample them as we go on, as we move, or rather as we, continue with the day. And subsequent bulletins will also publish this particular story and much, much more. We have a guest in studio, and I'm actually going to be asking him this, among other questions, of course, about the news we've received of former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. I'm talking about none other than the former Agriculture Cabinet Minister, Kipruto Arap Kirwa. Mheshimiwa, welcome to Radio Generation.
Nashukuru sana.
Yes. I'm sure you've heard of what is going on. If you haven't, well, there are reports that have reached us that Raila Odinga has passed on while receiving treatment in India.
Well, it is unfortunate. I've just heard of it.
Yes.
As I was getting in, some of the individuals called me and they told me it has happened. And it's unfortunate that it has had to happen at this time. Of course, we knew he was unwell, but we did not know that it had reached that stage that we have to lose him at this time, when the country is going through a lot of transition and a lot of realignment of political players.
Right. Some of the questions, CT and I were asking ourselves here, what does it mean for the broad-based government? Perhaps you can tell us, being a politician, you probably understand some of these fluid mechanisms as far as coalitions and collaborations in government are concerned. Perhaps you can let us your thoughts on the broad-based government going forward.
Well, still allow me to say poorly to the family, the supporters of Raila Odinga, and also to Kenyans in general, because on this landscape he has been a factor for more than 5 general elections. And of course, he has been a player in causing a lot of changes, including the Constitution 2010. And we feel that perhaps he would have lived long. He had lived longer. He would be able to see the fruits of devolution, a process that was involved, and he believed in it. As to whether the political realignment is going to change, a lot of things will happen. There are those who may want to take advantage of the situation. As you are seeing blockers, even before we knew that he had passed on, they were making statements that we feel it is totally un-African, it is inhuman, and of course it is the lowest part of morality. Because you see, I would rather disagree with you when you are alive.
Yes.
But when it comes to ailments, young people die, old people die, and anybody can die. I may be with you now, and 2 days later you are told I've gone. So I feel it is not right. And perhaps with that preamble, I feel Raila deserved better than the kind of jostling that we've been doing. As to whether this broad-based government is going to survive, it will depend on a number of factors.
Such as?
Such as the president, how is he going to play out? And without Raila, are we sure that his constituency is going to move in whatever direction? Because Raila has had a number of constituencies which were very dear to him, starting with the Coast Province, the old Coast Province, Western Province, and the Nyanza Province, and of course the Ma community. Those are people who have made Raila what he has been for the last 20 years or so, since 2007.
Right.
Because that's the time that he was such a formidable candidate, and in subsequent elections, he has performed very well. So it will depend on how both sides will reach out to that particular constituency.
Right.
And how propaganda is likely either to endear some section of this country to one side or the other. The second issue is that the leaders of Nyanza, who really were the bedrock of Raila's political party, the ODM, will also depend on how they will play out when it comes to the next general election. And more important is the fact that in all this, we just pray that we shall approach the next election without Raila, but also with a lot of peace in mind.
Yeah.
Because I strongly believe this country deserves better leadership than what has been happening for the last couple of years. Yeah.
In terms of succession politics in ODM, do we have a clear individual that can stand out and say that he or she might actually take over the reins of ODM and be the next party leader of the Orange Democratic Movement?
Well, I think there are, and I think Raila had done a succession plan. There are those who are deputies from various dimensions. The senator of Vihiga, governor of Mombasa, and
even governor of Homa Bay, I believe.
Yes, she's the chair. She's the chair.
Right.
So it will depend on how it will play out. What I know is that when such a colossal individual falls, it is like an elephant falling or a big tree falling in a forest. Some of the trees might be crushed, and some of them may thrive because the shade of the elephant has moved on. But overall, I just pray that the party will still remain, because you see, for me, I don't look at ODM as an enemy. I look at ODM and its principles as a party that has been able to sustain the discourse in this country for the last 20 years. And that discourse has been very useful, because in Africa, political parties really don't exist for long.
Right.
You realize that there's no formation that's run for elections twice in the same format for the last 25 years. This tells you that parties at times gravitate around communities or coalition of communities, one section against the other, and also around an individual. An individual like Raila had very big shoes.
Yes.
For any one of us to pretend that you can fill those shoes without looking for some material to fill up some of the spaces is impossible. I just wish the leadership of ODM will spend more time after the mourning of Raila, giving him befitting farewell, to reflect on where Raila started. Remember, Raila started with a very small constituency,
right,
when he ran the first time against Moi in 2000, I think it was 1997.
Yes, it was.
He had about 500,000 votes. But he has built that up to now 6 point something or even over 7 million votes.
7 million.
And so many other admirers. There are people who may not have voted for Raila, but they were strongly in favor of Raila. Whenever there was a crisis, they used to say, "Where is Raila?" Even those who did not like him. Those are some of the issues that one needs to reflect on.
Yes.
And realize Raila is not just somebody you can replace by just going through an election. You must go through a process of reflecting and accepting the reality that people play their role, and when they move on, we must give them respect they deserve.
There's this issue of legacy, and before the Gen Z uprising of last year, his legacy was that of, that resilient politician, that father of the nation kind of hat that he wore. But when he joined the broad-based government, something happened then. People started, and when I say people, of course, I mean the some sections of this country, the population said that, look, umeanza kuchoma, umeanza kuharibu. I wish ungenyamaza to retire in peace, and now you're tainting your legacy. Actually, that's one of the words that was being used. Tainting your legacy, unaharibu legacy yako. What do you think is going to be Raila's legacy?
The challenge that we find ourselves in as a people of Kenya is that we are polarized the space. we have created a lot of hostility. We have made this space look like that we come from different countries just because we don't agree. For me, Raila did what I consider the most reasonable thing. You remember, at that particular time, anything could have happened.
Yeah.
If the invasion of parliament had taken place and those young Kenyans had gone to State House, we would be talking of another story. For me, I don't believe, I may not like the current regime, but I don't believe in change that is not in consonant with the Constitution.
Yes.
I always believe there must be some order. And this means that we have to improve in our political hygiene, such that at the end of the day, you may not agree with me, but give me that space.
Yeah.
That yes, we disagree with you, but we now use the right process. That's why I still continue saying, young people of this country, those who have never registered before, those who have never voted before, let us prepare so that we determine who is the next chief executive of this country in the next 3 years. Yeah.
All right. Then when we also look at this whole issue of not Baba Tosha, but when Raila literally gave you blessings to vie for a particular seat, it was more or less a given, whether you are vying for MCA, MP, and people are actually going...
Depending on which part of the country you came from. Yes.
Of course, in ODM strongholds.
Thank you.
Yes?
Yeah.
And people would, clamor for that particular seat, because for the ticket, the ODM ticket, because they knew having that ODM ticket would most likely assure you that particular seat. But I feel it was because of the Raila influence. But now that Raila is not there, what does that mean for those individuals who depended for Baba to put that hand on them?
Usually every 5 years, there is what we call natural attrition process that happens to parliament.
Yeah.
So that at times 50% of parliamentarians don't come back. And in some cases, like in the year 1992,
yes,
there were 108 new members of parliament who had no parliamentary experience. That is in 1992, the second multi-party general election.
Yes.
Out of a house of about 210. This therefore means more than 50% at times is swept. So also there are those who are close to Raila and they have already taken their own constituency seriously. Therefore, they may get re-elected.
Yes.
But there are some who may actually not even present themselves, knowing that the presence of Baba is absent.
Yes.
And also there is something very important.
Okay.
There are those who are saying, give me this opportunity because I'm going to protect Baba at the national level. Whether they were capable of protecting Baba or not is a story for another day. Those are people now who are on their own.
Yeah.
You remember some of us used to survive because we used to resist President Moi. When President Moi left the scene, perhaps my constituents never saw the need for me to continue being their MP.
Really?
Yeah. That's how I felt.
Yeah.
Because for 20 years as member of parliament for Cherangany constituency, basically I was resisting the establishment from its excesses.
Yeah.
Of course, they saw it as if I was fighting President Moi. But the answer is no. I was just fighting for the people of that constituency.
Right.
And when I was minister, and perhaps I did more for them than any other time, that is when I lost elections.
Right.
So we need to, they need to reassess and recalibrate their politics. Otherwise, they run the risk of just being dismissed and going to oblivion.
Yeah. Okay. Again, getting back to the whole issue of the broad-based government, people, a lot of political pundits were saying that it is Raila's input that actually stabilized the country, considering what had happened last year and also spewed on to this year. Do you feel like things might change or they'll continue as they are? Do you feel like the political temperatures have cooled down and people are now focused on 2027? And by people, I mean the people who actually go to vote for leaders.
Well, I still believe that it will depend on how each side of the equation will play with the politics of the day after Raila.
Right.
This is a very important player that has had to leave us at this stage.
Yes.
So Raila politics will still be, the current regime may want to take advantage and say, okay, now that Baba is not there, I can adopt you as my children. And those of us on the alternative may also scale the landscape, knowing that without Raila, some sections,
Yes.
particularly Western Kenya,
Right.
may not be headed the way it has been before. So it's a very important issue. As I told you, there were 3 constituencies, Nyanza, Western and Coast, plus the Ma community that believed in Raila. A lot of realignments will take place and even the Northeastern. That is the Mandera, Garissa, and Marsabit. There are going to be a lot of changes. The current regime may benefit from this demise, and the opposition may also benefit, because I don't see Western being the same as it has been under ODM. ODM may have to struggle to survive in Western.
In terms of the opposition, which character can we look at and say that this might actually be the next Raila in terms of influence, in terms of political goodwill, in terms of just people power? Because Raila had those.
You know, the beauty with Raila is that we used to consult a lot. By the time he makes a certain decision, for those of us who are able to not to study, but also to take Railaism into consideration, we knew if you went to Juakali place in Kitale, you would easily hear a Juakali fellow saying something that is also reflected in Kawangware and also reflected at the coast. And that was the network Raila created. And I think it would take a bit of time for anybody to get to that particular level. Well, we know in Kenya, we are still ethnic in terms of politics. We are still, but Raila had risen above the Luo nation. He was able to galvanize support away from the Luo nation. And that network, he kept it alive for so long. Raila would be hopping from one place to the other at night. By 3 o'clock, he's now preparing, 3 a.m. He's preparing to take a flight, get received in Mombasa, and continue. To the extent that I was saying now, a man of 70-something, because he was in his 70s, where does he get the energy? You are with him here in Karen, about 11. He moves to another place. By 3, he goes to the airport.
And he used to do this almost every single day of his life.
Actually, Raila played politics. He lived politics.
He lived and breathed politics.
Politics, yes. So that is the way I see it. Many of us don't have that luxury. We spend half of the time in politics, half of the time trying to survive, and perhaps here in between you want to enjoy. He never enjoyed life.
Consider, for instance, the background that people have. You see, we focus on when someone has ascended to a certain position and they hold a certain aura and a certain amount of power. They didn't always have it. Mheshimiwa here was a teacher. And a head teacher before he got into politics and was elected in 1990. 89, sorry. Yes, I missed it by 1 year. You see, what happens is this. Teachers, I speak as one. Okay? Have a certain perspective and have a certain training by virtue of their work, and when they become a head teacher, that enables them to manage people in ways that other people cannot. You deal with students, the teachers, fellow teachers under you, subordinate staff, with the board of management, you're dealing with the Ministry of Education, you're dealing with the community around you. You're always managing all these variables at the same time. And the good thing is that people know you. See? And then you ascend. But the thing that teachers also tend to have independent minds.
As they should have.
Yeah, well, the profession allows you to do that because of what you do. So you rise to fame because Mheshimiwa was known to do something which wasn't done in that time.
Right.
He would speak against the then president, not against the president, but against certain policy. He'd say no, no. And it was unheard of because other people were not doing it. So that guaranteed that so long as that president was in power, there's a limit to how far his. It was a guarantee.
Yes, true.
There was a limit.
I'm actually visualizing it.
There's a limit to how far his political star would rise. Okay? If you take the discussion back to Raila, there's a point in time when you had Ford Kenya, whether it was Raila, Orengo, Kijana Wamalwa, they were on par. There was no one who, and there were other players who are considered to be fairly serious heavyweights. Remember, the old Luo Nyanza and Western heavyweights in politics, bless you, were still alive. Okay? So Raila was just one among. So you need to trace the history of the things that he did. Now, this is where time and history play a role. Okay? Why am I saying time and history playing a role? You see, there's a point in time in history when we're a single party state. Okay? This idea of the opposition was at your own peril, literally. Okay? Now, people who stood out, and this is where now Raila, his personality and everything about him, enabled him to stand out. Same with Mheshimiwa here. People who were not afraid. The key ingredient here, they were not afraid to take certain positions.
Right.
Most people who like sitting on the fence would not have stood out. Time then favors you when you have an idea of what you want to see done and you keep pushing the agenda. See, now that consistency, time again, and the changes that happen in the geopolitical scene favor you. The Cold War ends. The alignments that were there historically, Russia, America, all those things change. When you're alive throughout all these times, and your politics seems to be the same, and what favors you is you take a position that is against the existing status quo, there is no government that is always popular. When you are in a position where you speak things that people dare not speak, you pull the voting population behind you. They actually appoint you, and this is what happens. You get appointed as this is your position. Your job is to keep speaking for us.
I'm actually curious, Mheshimiwa, to find out what was one of the pain points between you and the former late President Moi.
Yes.
What is that one thing mulukomna gwaruzana?
Well, a number of things. You know, just like even today, there are so many audit queries. And fortunately, when I was elected in 1989, I became a member of a Public Accounts Committee. And by then, Public Accounts Committee and Public Investment Committee, both of them were under Controller and Auditor General. This therefore means there are a certain number of queries that used to arise. And as an active member of Parliament, still with a lot of courage, you know, as you get old, you become less courageous because you are more conservative and careful. So you pick one audit query, you honestly looking for justice, then you are stepping on the toes of many people. So they go to the boss, that's the president, and they say, this young man from Cherangani is not keeping the line. So those are some of the things, and some cases would be an issue of a teacher whose interests have not been covered by the TSC.
Right.
It could be maize farmers whose payment has been delayed. So for the president, he wanted me to understand the inside of government. And as City Muga has said, it took me 15 years to be a minister. And some of my colleagues, we came in together in a by-election, like Musalia Mudavadi. It took him, I think, less than 15 months, 15 weeks to become a minister. So at times, when you're on the wrong side, just like the First World War and Second World War. That's why you realize countries who are in the P5, France is there, Britain is there, America is there, then Germany is not there, Italy is not there, because they believe they were on the wrong side of politics when the United Nations was constituted as it is today in 1945.
Right.
So those are some of the issues that a member of parliament, and at times I feel a bit orphaned by the current members of parliament.
How so?
Because they seem not to want to raise the issues that we know. Today, let's talk about Raila, but it is important for anybody who is a member of parliament that let you stand to be counted. If you have no capacity to stand to be counted, that there is something that is going wrong here or there, you will never be counted as a serious politician. Remember, Raila walked out of Fort Kenya, moved into NDP, and in NDP, he became the first member of parliament here in Kibra. That was a lot of courage because he was risking. There's no by-election that is guaranteed. A by-election, even the people who voted for you yesterday, should there be a by-election, whether there is a petition or not, you are likely to lose some of your own supporters. But he did a very risky business, crossed over, started his own outfit. But then by 97, he was a presidential candidate of that particular party. And he did actually better than the people who remained in Fort Kenya.
If we go back and look at the fact that Raila has run in 5 general elections as a presidential candidate, and every time he anakanyagwa, for lack of a better word, by someone new, and new here I'm putting it in quotes, because, like, for example, Uhuru was a second-time presidential candidate, akamtoa. Ruto, a first-time presidential candidate, akamtoa. But Raila has been there consistently as a presidential candidate. Why has he never won that seat?
Well, there are many other factors. As I told you, political parties in Africa, at times some of them are conspiracy of tribes to beat the other tribes. And even the history of this country has a lot of that. Remember, Kadu and Kanu in 1963. It was competition of the so-called large tribes or small tribes coming together under Kadu, where the Luhya of Western Kenya, apart from the Maragoli, were in Kadu, the Kalenjin, and the people of Coast, apart from a bit of Taita, who are in Kanu, Taita Taveta were in Kanu, came together to say we want to be behind Ronald Gideon Ngala. And that is how the formation of Kadu was. And of course they were saying it was Kadu, Uhuru na Majimbo. Then Kanu was Uhuru na Umoja. Or later on, of course, Uhuru na Kazi. Now, all that was a conspiracy of tribes, not because there was anything fundamentally different from their target that we need independence for the people of Kenya. All that, even during one party state, it was still that conspiracy. Now, come 2002, Raila, of course, decided to move out of Kanu and supported the late President Mwai Kibaki. In between, we disagreed, orange and banana. Then, in the election of 2007, where it was actually almost what you call photo finish, because at times you don't know who won until you are told by each side. Because each side believes that they won. So Raila, unfortunately, like the last election, which I voted for him, there was a bit of confusion among the agents, among the people who were supporting him, and they created Raila as a business. Some people made more money in that election.
In 2022?
In 2022. I was part of Azimio. And there was a lot of confusion.
No, I want to understand, when you say people made a business out of that particular election, what exactly do you mean?
Mobilization of resources. And you know, every election, there is mobilization of resources. Some people are mobilizing resources and putting it into their own personal use. So Raila became a project for some people, for them to make some money. So Raila has been, it has been unfortunate for him, but he has played a role. As a leader, you really don't have to be in government to make a difference. Even in every corner of this republic, even some of us, we are not elected as of now, but we have certain opinion that can shape public thinking and discourse.
If Raila had managed to become president in 2022, and then he loses his life today like he has, what would that mean? Because at the time, deputy president would have been Martha Karua, right?
Yes.
So Martha Karua right now would be taking the oath of office.
Yes.
What would happen next?
Well, there will be realignment also because she would have to choose a deputy president and, of course, go through the process, as you know, under the current constitution. And that would have meant that, in fact, I would have been worried.
Why?
I would have been worried even before he passes on.
Yes.
You know, the promises given by the current president were so lofty, and he raised the hopes of Kenyans to a situation that had we taken over, perhaps that Gen Z thing would have actually made us collapse.
Is that so?
Yes, that's my worry. It is good actually that Ruto won because it allowed him to be demystified. Otherwise, he had given people some kind of messianic message that was like, we are moving to another phase, that there will be no borrowing, there will be no corruption, everything will be okay, there will be a lot of money in circulation, the bottom up, that those at the bottom are going to prosper. But it's good, it's actually testing his own medicine.
Do you think that the Gen Z would have done what they did last year had Raila been president?
I suspect. Because the Gen Z, they were not talking about Ruto as such. They were talking about certain basic conditions that they want to see in this country.
Okay.
Less corruption. And perhaps, I'm not saying Raila would have been corrupt.
Yes.
More presence of government in terms of provision of services, such as healthcare.
Right.
And the same money would not have been available.
Mheshimiwa, you don't believe that Azimio, the one that you were in, would have delivered those things?
That's not what he's saying. No.
What I'm saying is that the current president had built some hopes among Kenyans to the extent that everybody believed that it was going to be a rosy picture. And therefore we would be trying to perform against the parameters that had been set by somebody.
Okay.
And therefore we'd be all the time falling short of expectations. The expectations of Kenyans had gone so high.
So Kenyans would be comparing what Azimio is doing vis-a-vis what the KK had promised.
Promised, yes.
Okay.
And that would have been very dangerous for us. And I'm happy that he's the one in office because he has been demystified. Borrowing has gone up. Corruption has exceeded. Yeah. And there's no money in circulation unless you have it.
Let's not talk about my wallet.
Yes.
We'll talk about my pockets off air.
Yes.
So Martha Karua would have been the president right now. And she would choose a deputy president and perhaps made a few changes here and there. And for the first time, Kenya would have been led by a woman.
Yeah, which is normal. Which is normal, a very firm person.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not campaigning for her.
Yeah.
But if there is something that you cannot take away from Karua,
yes,
she's so firm. Even if you are his brother or her brother.
Yes.
And she's the magistrate.
Yes.
And she realizes you've stolen.
Nitafungwa.
Utafungwa. Yeah.
That is the kind of person we will be dealing with.
Yes, that's the kind of person you'll be dealing with.
Right.
And that has been a point of existence.
Right.
Yeah.
And Kenya would, and the reason I'm asking this is because literally we were very close to having a Raila presidency in the last election, because the president won by about 200,000 votes. That's a very small margin considering the vote block that was available to him, and also to Raila. And I was just imagining here, because these are questions that will actually emerge as we go through this mourning period for Kenya, and of course condoling with the family of Raila Odinga. One thing that is going to be also a subject of discussion going forward, and we will not be able to avoid this, is how his funeral will be handled. We have seen how prominent Kenyans have been handled as far as their funeral arrangements are concerned. Former KDF, tuliona vile yake ilifanyika, former President Moi, former President Kibaki as well. Are we going to see something similar in terms of a Raila funeral?
Well, I think I'm worried about the stampede. I'm telling you, Raila's funeral, you need to have a huge screen in your house or your compound. Getting close to where the funeral will be, you may realize that there will be over 2 million people in that funeral. Because Raila was just beyond human. I'm saying so because he was more of a spirit. That's why they were calling him Ogwambo. Yeah. because it is going to be a very interesting thing. Number two, just like what is happening in Zambia.
Yes.
The late Edgar Lungu, his body is still in South Africa. It has not been flown back because the family was desirous that HH or the current president should not take advantage of the state funeral. I know the current regime is going to do everything. It's going to be state funeral.
Yeah.
But what worries me is the number of people. Yeah.
Do you think we'll have him lying in state like we had former two presidents, Raila, not Raila, but Kibaki and Moi, where we shall have, Kenyans given the opportunity to view that body for days on end, have some sort of military performance, as much as he wasn't a chief of defense forces? Are we going to see something similar to that?
It is going to be very close to that because remember when Raila was prime minister, he was like co-president.
Yeah.
In fact, the constitution had to be amended to provide for the grand coalition government. And therefore, and given the fact that there has been very good rapprochement between the current president and Raila Odinga, that the state will go out of its way to make sure that nothing goes wrong in terms of making Raila a hero. Partly because of their selfish political interests, and partly because Raila deserves a state funeral. Yeah,
we saw Raila coming to the rescue of this government, the Kenya Kwanza government, on several occasions. For example, when Murkomen at one point made a certain declaration, the shoot to kill order, and then of course Raila came and said, look, forgive Murkomen. He has apologized, and he didn't mean what came out. It was taken out of context, and he has on several other occasions also just come to the rescue of the government to give ni kama kuosha the perception of the people as far as the government is concerned. Who is now going to do that for the government?
Mosho moja. Well, I'm yet to imagine. I'm yet to imagine.
Who did that before Raila started doing it?
Actually, no one.
Precisely. You see, you need to understand that there are positions that people earn over time.
Yeah.
And what they do to earn it is what is forgotten and not talked about.
Yeah.
You see, what makes Raila unique are those experiences.
Yeah.
Longest serving detainee for a very long time. I think it's only Masonga CJ who was probably detained longer than him. Okay? Then the things that are not spoken of, the very person who detained him, he was able to work with.
Yeah.
The very person.
Yeah.
And the legacy again that is spoken of is the man doesn't hold a grudge. There are many people who people say have crossed him, and you see him working with them. Someone like Orengo and Anyang' Nyong'o were not Raila supporters.
Yeah, at a certain period.
Yes, they were not.
Yeah.
They were different camps.
Yeah.
In fact, Raila and Orengo were actually competitors at some point.
Yeah, that's true.
In fact, Raila actually lost an election to Orengo within the Ford Kenya party.
Right.
But did they not end up working together?
They did.
Yes. In the KANU era, there was a Kisumu mayor called Oile. Oile was a thug.
I like the tonal variation, but please continue.
Yes. That is a man who swore that Raila would never hold a rally in Kisumu, and he had thugs behind him.
Okay.
A lot of young people died as a result of that. But please consider, every step that is taken with opposition at your heels, and the persistence of constantly fighting and constantly being in that same position over a period of time, to the point where you represent an idea. So now the idea becomes bigger than you. Now that is what happens with certain types of leadership. You stop being the individual, you represent an idea, and so long as it's an idea that seems to offer security for people then take it that is your role. And they feel that you owe them that role. Now you're asking who will take over. The dynamics of the changes that we have are not difficult to figure out in this respect.
Okay.
You look at what happens when we have a change of government. Let's start just a normal change of government one, okay? A lot of things change. And the person who if it changes in this instance, you may take certain tenets from it, but you actually can't figure it out because something of this sort has never actually really happened. Because we've never had anybody who has the sort of power and influence that Raila has. But what is certain is that the power dynamics have shifted completely. Not a little bit, completely.
Yeah.
It's now open season. And if the president had cover, he no longer has it.
He has been left exposed.
He has to change very many things that he has been doing, because now it's like you've had a command economy where you can suddenly do what you want, and then somebody suddenly introduces a free market.
Yeah.
Because that's what we have right now.
Yeah, I agree with him, because ODM definitely is going to present a presidential candidate. Because Raila would have midwifed that process, perhaps in a way that this broad-based government would go beyond the next general election, and therefore lend a lot of support to the current president. But now that Raila is not there, the father figure of ODM will use its own dynamics, may present a very strong presidential candidate, or whatever is the case. That constituency now is like taken away.
Who do you think that person might be?
But this is the point.
We are allowed to speculate. Yes.
But that's the point. How do you even determine? Look, when we had the elections in 2002, if we were to speak honestly, how many people thought Kibaki was going to be president when we started? He was not necessarily a front runner.
Yeah.
He was one of the people.
Yes.
Yes.
I remember in 2000, I went to America, and there's a formation called the Kenya Community Abroad, KCA. And in their rankings, I think this internet had already started there. When they were voting for who is the next president, Kibaki was not even among the first five. They were talking of Raila, Saitoti, Kalonzo, Nyachai, the Ngala, the son of Gideon Ngala.
Yes.
Yeah, Katana Ngala. So Kibaki was not even among those who are mentioned, among the top five.
What?
Now build up to all the way up to 2002. By September, we were not with the team of Raila.
Yes.
I remember when we said Kibaki was going to be our presidential candidate, Wamalwa running mate, of the running mate of today that you know, and Ngilu, prime minister designate. The other team was still in Kanu. Yeah. So when they went to Kasarani, they disagreed. And we met and we agreed and we signed MOU, which is a debate for another day.
Yes.
And the rest is history. Kibaki Tosha.
Yeah.
In fact, for many people who don't know, we met at the Serena that day. And then Mzee Chai had come also because he was one of the contenders. We talked, we could not agree. And then Raila told us, what are we going to tell the people? Let's tell them we've agreed on one candidate, but we have another day to announce. So
he bought you more time.
Yes. So I took my old Mercedes, I went to Southlands.
Right.
Because if we are not announcing, what am I going to do? Because I did not have a driver. So I drove myself to Southlands. Then I watched the TV. Raptures, applause. Kibaki Tosha. That thing was not planned.
It wasn't planned at all.
But I think he realized he has to make a decision. Because the more we postpone, the more we are likely to lose some people to Kanu. Yeah. So he said anybody among us can be the president. Even Kibaki Tosha. Headline.
And that is how Kibaki became president.
But remember something else, since we're talking about Raila. Because he had led that walkout of Kanu, 24 years of a rule, it's not that Moi became worse. People get tired. You've been there for too long and they want change.
Yes.
Now, this man did something that nobody had anticipated. Mheshimiwa here had been defying the presidency.
Yes.
Raila walked out with this entire formation.
Yes.
So he stood very tall in the eyes of the public.
That's true.
People were willing to listen to what he had to say. That's why the Tosha, if that wasn't the case, the Kibaki Tosha wouldn't have had any weight.
Okay. All right. It's interesting. I'm looking at some of the comments here. Let me just see what some of you are saying. Kuna salamu nyingi bedhi zako hapa mheshimiwa.
Oh, nashukuru.
Yes. For example, Atticus Nice saying, Salamu to Mr. Kirwa, true statesman. And then there was an interesting comment here. Okay, I've lost it. Surely it's gone, but I'll find it somehow.
Keep looking.
Yeah.
Ziko nyingi bwana.
But let me just pick up one that Star has said. No one can ever fill those shoes. Enigma is not succeeded. It is God-given. What would you say about that?
I do agree. I do agree with the viewer that or the listener that Raila's shoes are too big for any one of us to imagine now.
Yeah.
But God will provide in His own time a leader who is going to do the work Raila has been doing for the last 40 years or so.
I have a question in regards to Kalonzo Musyoka.
Yeah.
Because right now, being the Wiper leader, and the opposition, the united opposition, they are calling themselves the united opposition.
Yes, I'm part of that.
And CT amekataa anasema you guys are not united.
No. I have said the grouping that calls itself the united opposition because they're actually not united.
The group is here.
Well, I'm saying it so that he can confound or confirm what I'm saying.
Yes.
How united or not united are you?
We are united. We may have some, there is what we call group formation. First, you meet. Once you meet, you start storming. You've not agreed. Then there is what we call norming.
Yes.
Norming is a stage of realizing that you have certain qualities that I don't have. And have certain qualities that you may not have.
Yes.
And that's the stage we appreciate each other's talent. We are yet to get to that stage of norming. And after norming, you perform.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There may be some disagreements here and there, some of which, because, these are people who have come from different formations. We were with Azimio with some people, and I left Kenya Kwanza. And there were some people who came from Kenya Kwanza, including the deputy president of Kenya Kwanza at that time. So all these, we still have suspicion. What did you do? My shirt got lost yesterday afternoon and somebody saw you passing. So these are things that you cannot miss in a grouping of so many politicians coming from different parts of the republic.
The reason I've asked you this is because every person coming from the united opposition, I've asked them the same question.
Yes.
Because, and you seem to be singing in unison as far as the response is concerned. For instance, we had the Secretary General of PLP before you came into studio, and I asked her the same question, and I was asking her, what is happening, what is cooking? There seems to be no agenda, and he said, no, we have our different agendas towards one same goal. So allow me to ask you this question, because I didn't get the chance to ask her. What is this goal that the united opposition has?
Well, basically, we want to create a team, because the main problem that has bedeviled our country is one-man show. Whether it's President Moi, Kibaki tried to bring some semblance of teamwork, where if you are a minister, you knew you had a job to do. And if you made a mistake, it would allow you to correct the mistakes and apologize to the public. And if you exceeded the law, it would allow the justice system to take care of you. I remember some of the ministers were sacked, some did not come back, some came back. That was a style that personally I admired. That it is good to allow somebody to do a job. Even in this station, you are allowed to leave your house in the morning, come here, use your engineer's knowledge and experience, and run the show. But if somebody is at the door knocking, oh, no, don't do it that way, you will not be able to perform to the best of your capacity. That's why Ronald Reagan, when he allowed some people, he said, I've come to believe that when you allow professionals who know what they are doing, the latitude of freedom to decide, they give you better results than if you are to micromanage them. Now, the other thing that we have is that we are looking for a way of ensuring that whoever is picked as presidential candidate, whether he or she realizes that is just one among equals. We want to create a team, and we want to make a difference to this country. Whether people will be disagreeing, those disagreements are bound to happen, because the way I look at things is different from yours.
True.
Because we lived different times, we are occupying the same space with you, but your experience is different.
Okay.
Remember, even if you are in the same station,
Yes.
and you are to write a book, your experience is different from that of City,
Yes.
because you have different perspective.
True.
And that must be allowed. That is why there is diversity that we embrace.
Back to my question about Kalonzo Musyoka that I had started with. He was good friends, I'd like to believe, with the former Prime Minister, Raila Odinga. So was Martha Karua as well. What does this mean going forward now that Raila has rested for their political careers?
I believe that the absence of Raila will depend on how we calibrate our politics. Kalonzo Musyoka has been a partner of Raila for 15 years, twice as running mate, once as Prime Minister designate, or whatever the position you call it, and he has been able to deliver his backyard to the man. In fact, in 3 elections, if you are to compare, for those who deal with statistics, Raila's Kalonzo's turnout was higher than Raila's in terms of percentage.
Okay.
If you are to check Makueni,
Kitui,
and Machakos, and also other places
where Wiper had
like in Mombasa County.
Yes.
The people of Kitui, there are 100,000 voters. Mombasa County alone.
I wasn't aware of that.
And that is what makes the difference. In Mombasa, it is Wiper support that is able to cut an edge over Kenya Kwanza in Mombasa County. So now it will depend on who inherits the Luo constituency, or the Luo nation, and how they will partner. Because like what I saw, I think somebody deliberately wanted to create a wedge between our team and Raila's supporters. I'm not qualified to say that, because I don't know how blocking is done. Because some of those blockers, if they thought they were doing something good for us,
yes,
they did us a lot of damage. It was not good. Yeah, you know, and somebody's life should not really be a discussion or politics. Now we are discussing politics,
yes,
but in a way that we respect Raila.
Right.
We are not doing it in a way that we demean him, and that should be the case. So I do not feel that the Nyanza constituency or the Luo Nyanza constituency, it will depend on how we handle ourselves, and how those who will take over ODM leadership will handle the politics of the day.
What now happens to Martha Karua? Tumeongea ya Kalonzo. Martha Karua.
Martha Karua is part of our coalition, and she may end up being either the presidential candidate or somebody else, because we want to go through a process.
True.
Yeah, that's why you know at times when we keep quiet, people think we are doing nothing. We've been going through a process for the last 6 months, a process that I've been chairing, a coalition formation process, where we want to agree how are we going to deal with each and every constituency. Because here in Nairobi, in the last election, ODM got half of the seats. Of course, ODM, stroke Azimio,
yes,
got half of the seats. The other half went to Kenya Kwanza. And that tells you something about Nairobi, that we need to look at Nairobi as some kind of small Kenya, and understand how do we do trade-offs in a way that we don't lose seats that we ought not to lose.
Yes,
that is what we are going through now. Then the rollout will be who is the best candidate. There are certain parameters we'll set, but the final persons to determine is the council, which is the consensus among the leaders at the top.
Right.
Once that is done, whoever is our presidential candidate is going to roll out a serious program. I
think when Mheshimiwa Martha Karua was here, she mentioned that the opposition will present single candidates in every position. and I don't know whether she meant all over the country. For example, if there's an opposition candidate in Kitui County for governor, they will not have another one either from Wiper or from PLP. If they decide it's Wiper in Kitui, then it's that. There will be no PLP. There will be no I'm forgetting the other parties. But is that something that is actually going to happen, or did I get it out of context?
No, we will do an hybrid. An hybrid in the sense that there are areas we know Kenya Kwanza will not will be performing less than 20%. And 80% will be people who are aligned to us. We'll allow free fielding of candidates.
Okay.
But in constituencies where we feel we run the risk of losing to Kenya Kwanza, we'll present one candidate through a process. Either they compete and whoever wins is allowed to carry the ticket of the constituent party that he belongs to. And in some areas, there will be coalition political party, which, like Azimio in the last election, will do more than what Azimio did. Fielding a presidential candidate in one ticket, and also in constituencies where we feel there are chances of us losing, we feel the candidate for parliamentary, civic, or whatever level, or gubernatorial, in the coalition political party.
Right.
That is to obviate possibility of losing. Yeah.
Give us a little bit of the inner workings of that mechanism that you said you're chairing, that is going to decide on some of the things that as a coalition you're going to be doing together. What is the main purpose of, let me put it differently, what is that one thing that you think you need to align as far as because these parties also have their own different agendas or their own different kinds of DNA. What is that one thing you feel like should be aligned going forward, so that at least even when Kenyans are looking from the outside, they feel like, okay, pale ni kama kuna kitu kinapikwa na ni kitu kitamu.
One thing is that in politics, there are two things that you need to manage. You need to manage ego and you need to build trust. So basically what we are doing as we call ourselves a coalition building team is to improve on the trust among the leaders, both at the national and at the lower level. And also we manage their egos. You see, if I lost to you in a competition and I feel appreciated as part of the team, I will not run away. But if I lost to you, then you start saying, okay, you are boasting. Now you've lost to me. I'll go away and support somebody else to make sure that I have the last laugh. So those are the two things, managing egos and building trust.
Managing egos.
Yeah. In politics, there is a lot of ego to manage.
But there's something else here. Even when we talk about the united opposition, where are your votes going to come from? To win an election, you need people to support you. Where are your votes going to come from?
From Kenyans. From Kenyans.
Good.
Who have an alternative way of looking at things from the current regime.
And this alternative way of looking at things, what is it exactly? What is this thing that you're presenting that has not been presented by this particular government?
We want to distill issues and create an agenda that it is not one-man show. It is a collegial kind of leadership that we want to encourage in the country. And a leadership that does not do micromanagement of institutions and allow institutions to operate. The main problem with the current regime is that they have stifled institutions, whether it is judiciary, whether it's legislature, even within the executive itself. There are certain offices that are considered to be there by virtue of the constitution, such as independent commissions, whether it's lands commission, whether it is public service commission, whether it is a police whatever commission. All these commissions must be allowed to operate independent of the chief executive. The chief executive has no business in just being a busybody in every institution and making it look like it is a kiosk that is running from his own resources and resources of his parents.
Mheshimiwa, when you were in parliament, when you were in active politics, there was one party that ran this country. Now, we don't have that system right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yet, people like you were willing, very, very, very willing,
Mm-hmm.
to take a position that you knew
Mm-hmm.
would work against you. You knew.
Yeah.
It's not that you did not know.
Yeah.
You knew. Other people who did not take your position benefited when they got elected. There are many benefits that came to them because they sang the party tune and they sang the song that everybody was expected to sing.
Yeah.
Now, we find ourselves here, and we find ourselves in a situation where there are very many things that can be talked about, but at the heart of the woes of the country is the state of the economy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There has to be an economic framework that your grouping is talking about, something that definitively can show us a roadmap that will move us from this particular position that we're in to something that will be better.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying this because, one, many of the players who are in your grouping have been in the political system for a very long time through these very many changes. When one listens to the things they say, let me talk about myself, I don't hear them saying anything new.
Mm-hmm.
Question the political framework. What is it that they want to do differently? Yes, I've understood the collegial aspect of working, but what is this thing that will be put in place which doesn't leave too much wiggling room for somebody to come up with their own crazy ideas about what they want to do, because they say this is the path we are following?
Well, Kibaki had been on the space as a leader for more than 37 years before he became president. And when he became president, he allowed systems to work. And when, as I said earlier, he gave you a job, you knew you had a job. He was not micromanaging. So one of the definitive areas that I feel we will engage, and I would disagree with them if they behave differently, is that we must allow institutions to operate. One thing that I can say without any fear of contradiction, that Kenyans are well trained. They are very educated. They are experienced. For the time I was in the Ministry of Agriculture, I realized I was talking about the ministry from outside, and I did not understand that there are many good people in that particular ministry, even today. If you allow them to operate independent of interference from politics, those people will give you the results as long as the parameters are clear. So what I will insist, and I am saying it in open forum like this, that if they will do something that we realize that there is interference with the institutions, I will disagree with them.
You know, there's this discussion that is always had, and it's come up here about how the executive is influencing the other arms of government,
Yes.
whether it is the judiciary or whether it's parliament.
Yeah.
In a single party state, I can understand it, because then the president would appoint almost anybody to these positions. But this is different. These are independent institutions.
Yeah.
And the influence that is often spoken of, I have no evidence to support what I'm about to say, but I hear that people are given money, people are bribed to take decisions in certain directions, people are bribed to make certain decisions in parliament. This is my question.
Yes.
If you do not take the bribe, what happens to you?
Well, they will sanction you.
Yes.
They will sanction you, and not many people can resist the money. And you see, the authority that we're getting, and you will allow me to go back to Moi.
Please.
President Moi was seen to be a dictator, but he was operating under the old constitution.
Yes, he was.
Which gave him the leeway even to detain people without trial. He was dealing with the old constitution, which gave him a lot of powers. Under section 22 of that old constitution, everybody as a minister was working at the pleasure of the president. And therefore, appointment into any office was done by the president. Or the president could influence a decision to be taken at lower levels. Now, we are dealing with a new constitutional dispensation where even the president does not have the leeway to decide on certain parcels of land in various counties, because those parcels of land, they belong to the county. Now, what am I trying to say? The issue that we need to look at is that in the old days, you could not even ask a question and you had intentions of getting monetary gain because you would be taken in. You would be taken in because the president could influence that particular decision. So we were more careful. In the 15 years I was member of parliament for Kano,
Yes.
we were careful on the questions and even the mileage claims. If you have not traveled to the constituency, you don't claim. Because you claim it was 3,400.
Yes.
If you claim and you did not travel, they will get away. You remember some people ran away from this country? Some were jailed. They will get away of knowing that you do not travel. They saw you in Athi River on Saturday afternoon. Then on Sunday morning, they saw you go to church.
Yes.
And yet you are claiming you left on Friday to Cherangani and you came back on Tuesday morning. You would be taken. So we were slightly more careful. But when Kibaki was in power, Parliament almost went rogue. We became more powerful than the executive. We were almost dictating to the executive. I was part of the executive then.
Yes.
What should be done. Thanks to the late Peter Castro Oluwaringo, who made sure that we were independent arm of government by bringing the motion that created the Parliamentary Service Commission.
Okay.
Now, in the current regime, we cannot quote anybody else other than the president, who says members of parliament are being bribed.
Yeah.
And to confirm that, we know anytime there is a motion, like the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua, he called them to State House, and we realized that they were given a bit of money to influence them to make the decision that they made.
Okay.
So a bit of money is being used now. But we just pray that whoever takes over this country should allow himself or herself to perform and not give money to put under the carpet certain bad decisions they would have made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a comment here, but before I ask it, is Kanu in the united opposition?
No, it has not been. It has not been. It was part of Azimio. And then what happened is that after that, they went quiet until the other day when I saw Gideon visiting the president.
Right.
And subsequently the president returned a visit to Kabarak.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, there's a comment here by one of our viewers, Kenson Mugolo, saying, is it accidental that Gideon has joined the broad-based government and then Raila, passes on? And there's a message actually received also a couple of, minutes
What
ago.
exactly did that person say?
I want to connect this whole story.
No, just read what they said exactly.
Amesema hivi, it has a lot of typos. Acha nisome venye ameandika.
Yes.
It accidentally that Gideon S joining the broad-based and this is happening.
All right, so, and the lessons.
Yeah. So, again, I received a message talking about the fact that perhaps Raila passed on a while ago, not even this morning as it is being alleged. And this, of course, is we're just talking about siasa, more or less.
What did I tell you earlier on?
Vitu zitatokezea nyingi sana.
They have begun.
But I want to entertain this thought that perhaps the government, the president, and his inner circle knew about the passing of Raila that perhaps didn't happen today, and now they started realigning themselves as we await the breaking of this news. Do you believe that perhaps there's a possibility that former Senator for Baringo knew this because courtesy of the president, and now they were realigning? By the time we're getting to know about Raila's death today, kuna vitu mingi zinafanyika behind the scenes towards 2027.
Let me have a contrary opinion, given the experience that we know, that somebody could have been on life support system for quite some time.
Yes.
And perhaps people suspected that it may not go the way we wanted. It may go the other way. So I would not want to say that Raila passed on much earlier. I would want to say possibly the doctors were trying, and perhaps those who are in the know were trying to see what to do, what is best. But I also want to feel that Gideon was innocent,
yes,
given the fact that he was preparing to go for a by-election, and it was a very good by-election that he was going to win, and the president might have found necessary to say, okay, my brother, join me because I'm doing my final term. Do like what Uhuru did. But if the president was generous, he would have allowed Gideon to go win the by-election, come back, allow Kanu to move to that side, and in the next election, he tells the president, I'm not fielding against you at the presidential level, but allow me to grow my party. So that 2032, I have a chance, whether you win or you don't win, I have a chance also to have a stab at the leadership of the country. But of course, as you know, William Ruto is not so generous when it comes to giving space to any political player. He actually believes the principle of the bull, that if you are fighting at the cliff, you make sure that you throw away your opponent down the cliff.
So, given what you've said, in terms of what now we are seeing, in terms of alignments, if indeed, Gideon Moi had a very good chance of clinching that seat, the Baringo senatorial seat, why did he himself see the need to step down and allow the UDA candidate in that area to have a chance?
Well, I think Gideon is not a politician. He's a businessman. We have a saying in the language that I speak, away from English and Kiswahili, and a bit of French,
please say it in your language and then translate. Sema alafu tutranslate. Nataka kuisikia.
Waje niseme kwanza kwa lugha yangu nini kwa Kiswahili, that fire gives birth to ashes. Iema or fire gives birth to ashes. So the ashes are very cold. They do not have capacity. And at times, that is, I'm referring to Gideon Moi.
Yes.
And at times we say, a lion gives birth to Mbwea. Simba usa Mbwea.
Okay.
I feel Gideon disappointed us.
Yes.
A lot.
Okay.
He should have
gone ahead.
He should have gone ahead. He looks like President Moi. But we realize the engine is not that of President Moi.
So, because again, there's an argument that was saying that had Gideon Moi actually gone ahead and vied, obviously, on the Kanu ticket, he would have won that senatorial seat, and that would have shown that indeed UDA is not as strong as they think they are in the Rift Valley. Is that a true assessment?
No, I think it's just selfishness of William Ruto. Because Uhuru Kenyatta ran candidates in Kanu in 2007. And still won a number of seats but supported Kibaki. That's what Gideon should have done. Today, if I had a party, the bare minimum I can badge is to tell Ruto, I'm not running against you. Allow my party to grow. For him not to allow Kanu to grow is the height of selfishness. I cannot put it differently.
So what does this mean then going forward for Kanu?
Kanu will disappear from the books increasingly. I don't see Kanu coming back unless it is taken over by somebody else. Not under Gideon. It will disappear from the books. Do you still hear for Dasili?
No.
It went. DP, it is only recently that Muturi has tried to revive. Otherwise, DP had disappeared. So it will disappear. Even in Germany, the parties that used to rule are no longer being talked about 50 years ago.
But we know the reason for that. Going back to this whole issue of Gideon Moi, so, and not just Gideon Moi, what I mean is the Rift Valley issue. So how strong or how popular is UDA in Rift Valley?
Well, it's still popular. Not because it is UDA, it's because of William Ruto. Today, William Ruto wanted to be a political genius. He would dissolve UDA and move to ODM and become presidential candidate for ODM.
Become the party leader.
The party leader and the presidential candidate. All those supporters of his in Rift Valley who are in UDA, they will follow him.
Is it possible for him to actually do that?
It is. I'm giving him...
constitutionally speaking.
He can dissolve UDA. On the eve of the next election, he can dissolve UDA. So he was in Jubilee. Then he ran on UDA. He's now in UDA. He can run on ODM. That's the only way he can capture the Raila constituency, if they accept him. But I know Sifuna will not accept him. Sifuna and Babu will not accept him.
Right.
Otherwise, that will be Because the Kalenjin Rift Valley is supports him to a certain percentage, slightly lower than the last election. But he still got that constituency. Perhaps I like being modest.
Right.
He could easily be at 75%. 25%, especially young people, are not so enthusiastic in supporting the president.
Right.
But he still got 75%. And it is not because of UDA as a party. It is because William Ruto, the person.
So if today the president were to dissolve UDA and say, okay, you know what, in the absence of Baba, I am the new Baba.
Yeah.
And manages, for some strange reason, manages to convince Sifuna, the senator, and the MP, Owino.
Yes.
Do you think that he actually has a good chance of consolidating ODM?
He has a better chance because ODM will realize they are still growing. And he may get some seats away even from the ODM constituency. Yeah, because he also has his own support as a person. But if he stays in UDA and the ODM presents a presidential candidate, that marriage is dissolved. Yeah, in Malaysia.
And in terms of raiding ODM right now that Baba is no longer there, do you feel like perhaps now, like City put it, it could be open season, but for ODM now tuingie pale tuchukue all these individuals from ODM, tumalize ODM tuwaweke kwetu. So for instance, Wiper goes and tells Sifuna, you come. Another party comes and tells Babu Owino, you come. Or even they themselves exit ODM and start their own outfit.
Do you know why people move and gravitate to other political parties? There's a process in a party and you can actually see it. How did UDA get to do what they do? What they did. This one is in recent history. You can actually see it. Azimio had one up on them, clearly.
Yes.
And the courts said so. The courts stated so.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So, why is it that UDA still hold the power they hold and they still claim to have a majority in parliament, which the courts have said they don't?
Yeah.
People gravitate towards what they consider will be the power base.
Yeah.
And what Mheshimiwa was saying, in terms of the options that exist, that region that you speak of, they have more in common than they have differences, even politically.
Yes.
It would not be a difficult sell. Not really. Not really.
Yeah. And when you talk of Rift Valley,
yes,
it is the Kalenjin Rift Valley. Because in Rift Valley there are people, Turkana, the Maasai, the Luya. Yeah, like Trans Nzoia County.
Yes.
Majority are Luyas.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's the county I come from. So the Kalenjin Rift Valley, as I told you, 75% will still vote for William Ruto. Yeah.
Baba, while he was still alive, we saw a lot of malumbano na SG wake. Or rather, SG wake was, the Secretary General was very vocal on issues that he felt they were not aligning with himself perhaps, or the party. But the point is, he was very vocal. And then, of course, we had Babu Owino, and I'm sure others will probably come up now that Baba is no longer there. Do you think that it is possible, again, to just for those like-minded individuals to exit the party and go start their own outfit or join a specific outfit?
Paul, why do you think that the statement you're making actually holds any water? What makes you think that the political parties we have in this country, that individuals can just come out and speak and sound as though they are against the party processes? I'm asking the question to answer.
What do you mean? What do you mean party processes?
Well, you are alleging that Sifuna and Babu Owino seem to have been lone rangers doing their own thing, and I'm asking you, what makes you think that?
Because we have seen them doing it.
But
I'm taking it at face value.
Yeah,
Yes.
I suspected actually that
It was
Sifuna used to cross-check with Baba. Anything he said, Baba had a soft spot. But you see, Baba was in a position that, yes, he has agreed with his friend William Ruto that will balance these issues. But Baba was still the political animal that you know him to be. That he understands, he can see this young man as a point. But you see, you have to balance also this other constituency. You remember even at the beginning, it was not only Sifuna, it was Sifuna James Orengo, governor of Siaya, and governor of Kisumu, Professor Anyang' Nyong'o, who seem to have had a divergent view from the mainstream thinking of ODM.
Yes.
So all those voices are still there. I do not know, and I don't want to become a political expert because that's not my training. But I have a feeling that coast, ODM at the coast,
yes,
may realign itself with the current regime. That's the way I see it.
Is it because we have the likes of Joho in government?
No, Joho, even Abdul Samad and even people like Mvurya, and generally the people of Coast, we've had that history with the Kalenjin nation.
Yes.
They are likely to be more sympathetic to William. The area where I'm not sure
yes,
is Luo Nyanza. They might present, and if ODM presents its own candidate, William Ruto can forget those votes. But Western is more, in my opinion, realigned towards the alternative thinking. That is our team.
You see, the Western vote has never been as homogeneous as we would like to make it.
Yes.
Every strong political party has their people.
They will harvest them.
And then Western Kenya also has their own party. And for the longest time it has been Ford Kenya. But it is those who argue it's a Bukusu party.
yes,
Well, yes, I mean, everybody has their own little formations here and there. And there are those who would argue that they would get their votes. ANC, when it existed, would get some votes. ODM would get some votes. You see, the same applies to the part of Luo Nyanza, which isn't Luo.
yes,
Yeah.
You see, you find a lot of democracy in the way they vote in the parliamentarians.
Even now, I think they could have more than 7 parties
Yes.
among the sitting members of parliament.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So ODM gets some, but other people also get theirs.
Yes.
Now, the coast, as you correctly put it,
Yes.
has for the longest time been firm, irremovable supporters of Raila Odinga. Now, you ask about Hassan Joho. Hassan Joho is an ODM and a Raila creation. He has no political might of his own to speak of. Well, I'm just telling you the bare truth.
Really?
He doesn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
Yeah.
That guy was governor for 2 terms. Yeah.
Yeah, but because of Raila's party.
Yes.
You know, if Raila touched you, you become gold. Yeah. You
He had the Midas touch.
Yeah. You know, if Raila was around and he said, Kirwa, bas.
Done.
Yeah, done.
Waziri mbona hukwenda kwake umwambie tu?
But you see, the dynamics are different. Also, you have to ask yourself, where am I starting? Yeah, which point am I starting?
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't want to become a political liability to any friend of mine.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's what Raila created all these people, even William Ruto. He allowed them to be part of the Pentagon. In 2007.
Yes.
And that gave them a lot of status, a lot of gravitas from nowhere. You remember in 2002, nobody wanted to hear Kanu in the rest of the country. But by 2007, people had forgotten that Ruto was in Kanu in 2002. So, because Raila touched him. Yeah. And anybody touched, he became gold from mud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where? And someone actually, I saw a comment somewhere here saying that there will be, we shall never see another Raila Amolo Odinga.
That we won't. There'll be somebody else,
but not to the level of
bringing you down, because everything that created the person we came to know as Raila Odinga, those circumstances aren't going to reappear.
Yeah. The factors have changed.
Yes.
You remember he defied even his own father.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. He defied his own father. So some of these issues is that Raila occupy that space because of his internal limit.
Yeah.
You know when you have what we call internal limit, you cannot expect Vitz to have the same speed as Mercedes-Benz on the same road because they have their own internal limit. The engine. Even if you put the engine of Mercedes on Vitz, you'll actually destroy it. Yeah.
The frame can't hold.
It can't hold. And even the pressure in the cabin.
Yeah.
The speed of Mercedes at 200, will still allow you to feel you are safe.
Yeah.
Vitz at 180.
Kanatetemeka.
Yeah.
Clearly, you're a lover of Mercedes Benz. You remember he said
those vehicles are very serious vehicles.
Yeah.
Believe me.
Yeah.
They are not spoken of carelessly.
Yeah.
When people praise them,
Yeah.
or they know exactly why they're praising them.
Yeah.
But Paul, there's something you need to understand about our politics, yeah? And why it is. There's an illogical way
Yeah.
in which people follow certain leaders.
Yes.
But there's also logic in that illogical situation. In this sense, depending on the history of that particular place.
Yes.
Let me give you an example of, say, Rift Valley. Okay? The Kalenjin aspect of it. And look at the communities. You'll find distinct differences between the two main groups.
Yes.
The Kipsigis and the Nandi. There are those who will tell you that the Nandi are given to be very strong-headed and they will oppose things without even batting an eyelid. Now, I'm saying that deliberately because our guest here can correct me. But why is that? Because there's a history that people look at vis-a-vis the colonialists, and they say, these fellows took a certain position, and it is what they are associated with moving forward in history. Now, if you look at the region of what we refer to as Luo Nyanza,
Yes.
one of the narratives that has been consistent was how that region was marginalized. And if the region was marginalized, it was an ecosystem with which certain people grew. Now, industries were not there to speak of. The things that one would point to as development, one didn't see much of. My view is that I blame the political leaders at that particular period of time, but that's a different story altogether.
Yeah.
Now, that ecosystem produced people who are given to making a stand on issues because they believe that the stand that they took on certain issues is what got them to the position that they were in.
Yes.
That is the opposition to the first president, Jomo Kenyatta, and to the ways Jomo Kenyatta did his things, and other things that happened thereafter. This is history.
Yeah.
But then it becomes a norm when generationally people believe and they take that as the mantra and they say, this is what has happened to us. And that's why devolution now became something that was important. Because now you cannot say that you're marginalized because you have money that is given to you that you can use to develop your own country, or your own county.
Counties.
But the mindset that had been created was a mindset that did not even bat an eyelid when given an opportunity to oppose things. So it's almost generational. Now, when a leader comes around and represents, because Raila's ascendancy to power in Luo Nyanza meant a breakaway from the old politics. That year that he actually formed NDP, all the legacy Luo politicians who were in Fort Kenya lost. They lost. And his people won. So there was a clear power shift. And their mindset was not dissimilar. And they were the thought leaders. So you can see an entire group of people thought and felt in a particular way. Now, when you look at what we have right now, let's go to the Gen Zs. There's a thought process that they have that gets them to do the things they did last year and how they think. Now, my question to Mheshimiwa, that thinking represents a reality that they feel and they face.
Yeah.
That history I spoke of, many of these leaders were very young people then. Not necessarily Gen Zs, but they were young. How do these older politicians align their thinking to that of these young people so that when they present whatever ideas they have, it aligns with the expectations of these young people? Because whether we like it or not, as we're on our way out, we are definitely on our way out.
That's true.
And they are the ones who have the country to lead and to move forward with.
Over to you, Waziri.
Well, it's very important. We'll do what two presidents have done in Africa. The late Julius Nyerere and the late Jomo Kenyatta. Jomo Kenyatta's cabinet was perhaps the youngest in the history of this country. He himself was over 74, but most of his ministers were in their 30s. Those who are old were in their 40s. And some of them, like the late Dr. Sakari Onyonka, was in his 20s. He was 29 when he was made a cabinet minister, having beaten George Lawrence Agini to the seat in Kipruto. This therefore means that we need to have that kind of re-engineering so that we realize these people, they may be in their 30s, in their 20s, but they also have this country as their own country, and they have certain ideas that they must be harnessed. We must harness those ideas of young people so that we cannot say we are midwifing a process when we don't involve them. The one of Nyerere, and allow me to say that, when Nyerere was doing his final term, because he actually had resisted, he wanted to retire 5 years earlier, but he was prevailed upon by the country that we are not ready for change. Please allow us another 5 years of your leadership. So when he appointed his last cabinet, he made sure 50% of the ministers, including his own prime minister, the late Edward Sokoine, were under 40. Sokoine at that time was 39. And his main reason was the people I have and Nyerere himself was in his early 60s when he was retiring. He said the people I've had for the last 24 years as the president of the Republic of Tanzania are people that they are in their 60s and they have been with me for the last 24 years. I want new thinking to be injected into the leadership of Tanzania. And that is how, and I also want to live long enough to see one or two regimes come to pass and see how people are doing things differently. Because these people, we've been thinking the same, and they are likely to repeat the mistakes I made. I want new people to take over this space. It is also something that we're encouraging in our system. Our alternative thinking is that Gen Zs should not be involved. They should be part and parcel of the leadership of this country. We cannot say we want to give them a program. We want them to create their own program, and a program that is in consonant with the laws, the constitution, and the spirit of the Kenyan nation. Right. That's the way we look at it.
Gen Z is, of course, and we're seeing that they're trying somewhere. They're trying. In terms of registration, and this is now IBC for the general election. In terms of registering to vote or registering as voters, the numbers have been very disappointing. I think I saw something in the papers yesterday that only about 20,000 of them have registered, considering they were expecting about 6 million individuals to actually be lining up to register for voter registration. Do you think, looking at those numbers, that we can actually ascertain whether they're serious or not? Ama kama Wakenya venye napenda kusema watu wa last minute, they'll probably show up towards the election en masse and jam IBC offices.
Well, some of the challenges that we have is that the offices that are registering, they are not in every polling station. Like Cherangani has around 107 polling stations. We would expect at the time they want serious registration, they will make sure that they go to every polling station for purposes of making it easy. You see here, if it is like 2 kilometers away, you have to take 2 matatus or taxi. People are so busy trying to survive. The second issue is also IBC has not been aggressive in terms of advertising and giving public information about it.
Creating awareness.
It is actually the media which has been assisting us to create this particular awareness. And the third issue is what you said. Kenyans at times they act when there is a bit of crisis. So IBC should even have voter registration intensely, let's say in the month of March, and say we will stop after 1 month. Then you realize that 1 month, people, about 4 million will register.
Overnight,
I'm confident. And also there is also the other constituency that did not vote for Raila or William Ruto in the last election. I think that is another constituency that has been activated, and some of them are young people. Many young people did not see the need. They were just waiting in the social media and on TV to see who has won, who has lost. But this time, I think there is a reason for them to go and vote.
Okay.
And I hear. I have my grandchildren, some of them are GNCs. And
Have they registered?
Yes. 2 of them have registered, my grandchildren. 2 of them have registered. And I get also children from friends. They say they have registered.
Okay.
So IBC also should be more open. If there is something that I fear with this regime, they are very good in giving misleading statistics,
Okay.
including the level of borrowing, GDP compared to the rest of Africa. They have certain funny figures.
So it could be more than 20,000.
It could be more than 20,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a question in regards to former Deputy President
Yeah.
Rigathi Gachagua.
Yeah.
He formed part of his political rhetoric around the person of Raila Amolo Odinga. Now Raila Amolo Odinga has rested. What do you think Rigi G going forward is going to say about this man?
Well, I don't know. I've not asked him because I usually like my politics being around issues. Individuals, yes, notwithstanding.
Yes.
But it is good to think broadly and talk of issues. So I've not asked him, and when I get a chance, I will ask him that can we go slow on Raila because he's not with us, and we need to give him peaceful send-off, befitting of him.
Okay.
Yeah.
In regards to what Kenyan politics is really going to miss about Raila Odinga, what do you think is that one thing that now he's not here, we're going to be like, hey, Raila angekuwa hapa, maybe angekuwa na this to say about this?
Yeah, Siti Muga said at the beginning that Raila was almost, and some people from my community one time when I was minister, they were supporting the opposition at that time, and they were saying that I should now, when the opposition went into government, they wanted me to still remain opposing what they were doing. That is to say, you must be a barking dog hanging around the house.
Yes.
If there is something that will be missed about Raila, is the fact that he had a pulse rate of the nation. And any time he went public, he knew and he had the facts right. That's why nobody would oppose. And that's what made him dangerous. And perhaps that could have been the reason why government to make that approach more with him, because they knew that he knew the government. Yeah.
Okay. And in terms of the greatest gift, perhaps we shall that Raila rather gave to this country as far as his personality is concerned and his politics, that one thing that we will, and I probably will call it the legacy that he has left behind. According to you, what do you think it is?
He was able to realign the politics of the nation, to give it a bit of order, hygiene, and also collectively with the late president, they were able to deliver the Constitution 2010, which created 47 governments at the county level and one at the national level. I believe, if nothing else, Raila should be remembered for that. And of course, because we shared the same cabinet with him, he was responsible for much of the infrastructure, not only in the country, but much more so around Nairobi. Some people at times, they make it tribal, like the Thika Highway, and many of these ideas of infrastructure, including the road that is between City Mortuary and on Mbagathi. Is it called Mbagathi?
It is now the road?
Yeah.
It's now called Raila Odinga Way.
Yes.
Yes.
That one, it was done for free.
Really?
We didn't pay.
Yes.
There is a company that Raila was able to approach to test that kind of technology for purposes of seeing whether we can replicate and upscale it. These are some of the things that he did at personal level. And there's something that is very unique for many people, is to have a constituency 400 kilometers that believes in you, and you decide to be MP for Nairobi. In Nairobi. Not many people can do that. Yeah.
But then why didn't he vie there? Why didn't he vie in that?
He could have won, but possibly realized that even these Nairobi people need him. You remember Kibaki was MP for somewhere in Nairobi until 1974 when he went to Othaya.
And you said which constituency?
Kamkunji.
Okay.
Kamkunji. Yeah, he went to Othaya. So
and became MP there.
He became MP, and for the rest of his life.
There are those who claim that the lady who stood against him actually won that election.
Who? Jael Mbogo.
Jael Mbogo.
Yeah, the difference was very small because I remember I used to follow those results in the weekly review. Weekly review used to occupy a very nice space. The 69, I think both of them had 6,000.
It was it was a very scary election if you're in Kibaki's position, because something unprecedented. But remember one thing, there's something that Raila has been criticized about, and that is what some refer to as the perennial handshakes. If you look at the geopolitics, and I'm talking about in the broadest sense possible, and you look at how many African countries have gone when they've had issues to do with electoral disputes, the handshakes created a culture we have in this country, helped create, where when you have a problem, you talk about it. And you come to an agreement. It may not be the option that some people wanted, but we now have a culture where we know that you can discuss. Now, others have taken advantage of that, and they use it to sort of like provide the safety net they need for whatever nefarious activities they want. But from the point of view of a nation, the understanding that everything we can stop the hurtling towards a cliff and say, guys, let's not go over this cliff. Why don't we just talk about this thing and see the direction in which we can move? It appears like it's a compromise, but my friend, it's a culture that has served us well. Because that conversation is what makes it possible for us to even have this conversation we're having here. Because we are a nation who discuss things, and we are willing to even talk and disagree about certain issues. Now, other things come in that are truly unpleasant, like young people being killed or shot, or people being disappeared. That isn't the province of just this government. The previous government had their fair share of some of these disappearances. The Rivayala got known for this. But that is something that I was hoping Mheshimiwa would have talked about, and how we can bring an end to this. Because the fact that people do not agree with you doesn't mean they have to die.
We have like about 4 minutes, Mheshimiwa. We can allow you to probably comment on what City has just said.
First of all, I want to entirely agree with him that democracy is not what was designed in Greece, that went to UK, America, France, and the rest of the world. Democracy in Africa is still very fragile. Fragile in the sense that we are countries of nations. We are not yet a nation. Because a nation in Kenya today, the 42 tribes are nations unto themselves. And they existed before colonial period. They existed before democracy. And they believe they were complete in themselves. So what we are doing is a fragile kind of trying to make some semblance of some mosaic that allows every community to exist without properly defining it. Because when you go to the African traditional stories, you will realize that every community had their own government. However primitive it was, whether primitivity is supposed to be used, where human nature is, it was a government that was able to give them some kind of social cohesion for the community to exist. Whether they were using some things like curses, witchcraft, that was some form of administration that was just giving reward and punishment at the same time. Now, the democracy that we have, it depends on who is defining it. You know, at times people confuse democracy and governance. You can have governance without democracy, and you can have democracy without governance. And that's the situation that we talk democracy in Kenya, but we don't have governance. Of course, at times, even that democracy is polluted by the kind of manipulation that takes place whenever an election period comes. So my take is that that Raila handshake served us well because we were able to stem some of the unfortunate situations that would have precipitated And therefore, while we mourn Raila, we need to spend more time telling the regime of the day and other regimes to come that disagreement does not mean destruction of life.
Yeah.
Because just I don't agree with you, I exclude you from being around.
Yes.
I exclude you from the rest of society. I exclude you from this world. I take you to another phase that I have not gone myself.
Yeah.
These are some of the things that I get worried. And allow me, within the little time,
Yes, please, sure.
to talk about these Kenyans who are in Uganda.
Yes.
The least you would have expected is the Honorable Musalia Mudavadi to issue a statement to tell us how is the lives of those people. Are they safe? Are they not safe? And we have a lot of history about Uganda and us.
Yeah.
I do not want to cast aspersion on the current regime. But remember, in 1975 or 74, the late Kungu Karumba went to Uganda looking for his money from one of the ladies who had picked some materials from Kenya.
And he disappeared.
He never came back. A Makerere student, Esther Chesire, a sister to Sipora Kitony, from Makerere, she disappeared, never to be seen again. So we should understand that the prime motive, the existence of any government is to take care of the citizens of this country and their wealth.
Yes.
And any citizen disappearing, and we do not know the circumstances, is the height of irresponsibility on the part of the government of the day. Yeah.
Perhaps, City, because you've lived on this earth long enough, a comment or two about Raila Amolo Odinga.
You know, the people like Raila Odinga and the people who live in the country where individuals like him live are perhaps a lot more fortunate than very many other people. In this sense, you get to see something that very few people actually get to see. The birth of a nation, which is what independence represented, and the twists and turns that we've had as we've tried to figure out how to manage our politics, how to manage our economy, how to go about understanding this concept of democracy and how it works with us, how to manage the many nations we have within this the geographical area we refer to as Kenya. The one thing that Raila stands out as having achieved, even surpassing his own father, was being a figure that the entirety of Kenya recognized as a leader.
Yeah.
Because when he spoke of the things that were germane to the Mwananchi, it didn't matter which community you came from. His voice and the issues he raised concerned you and it touched you. It resonated with you easily. But in addition to that, to understand the power that an individual who understands the very concept of reconciliation brings about, it is the respect that other nations then bestow upon you. Raila Odinga went to attend a course in Boston. Remember the time when we talked about Baba while you were away?
Yes.
That particular course was designed for former presidents. Former presidents. Okay. He's among the very few people who was not a president who actually got to go for that particular course. Somebody who is able to understand the simple concept of putting aside your interest and looking and saying, if this country is not in the format that it's in, even my interests have no value. So let's put the value of this country ahead of our personal interests.
Yeah.
Many African leaders who fail to do that have countries that are almost no countries as we speak. People who did not understand that the political interest, when it represents the people, must represent them even when it comes to taking positions that may not be popular with people who support you or with people who feel that change ought to come in a way that is not necessarily democratic. There are people who've stood out, and they've stood out even more when they've passed away. You're talking about Fidel Castro. You're talking about Mandela. On this particular continent, You're talking about people like Sasaret Sakama. You're talking about Julius Nyerere. Now,
Seret who?
Sasaret Sakama.
Okay.
Okay?
He was president of Botswana.
Botswana.
I'm hearing that name for the very
Yes, yes. Now, everyone I've mentioned was a president and they left a legacy that the country has followed and has contributed to the stability of the country.
Okay.
Now, here we have somebody who indeed now fails that particular tag of the people's president, never really ascended to State House, but left a legacy that when people look at, it's at the same level as those who actually ascended to that position and pronounced themselves as leaders, actually participated in activities that grounded that particular concept and left a legacy that is going to be discussed for a very, very, very long time to come.
Okay.
By those who opposed him and those who loved him.
That's true.
Yes.
Waziri, I'll give you also a similar opportunity to say something about Raila, personal words, as we come to an end.
Well, let me say this. Raila, we work together, both in the cabinet and in parliament. And I strongly believe that Raila, the man who has now left us, is larger than life. Because, as it has been said, he stood for this country. And at the beginning, it looked like he was not going to grow beyond the Luo constituency. But by the end, for 3 general elections, you know how close it was for him to get to the presidency. But we thank God he was able to perform whatever he did, even outside the presidency. That's why even in the 2010 constitution, he was part and parcel of that decision to devolve power from the center. If for those who loved Raila, we would wish to encourage them to improve on the devolution processes, both in terms of resource delivery and also services must also be accompanied by resources. So that devolution becomes a reality, that this country have their own resources at the county level. That's the only way we can say we have a Kenya that has a meaning to those of us who are alive today and those to come.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I believe that's the time we have as far as this conversation is concerned. I would have wished to continue, lakini watu lazima wakunywe chai na wengine wakunywe maji. Yeah. But thank you so much, Waziri, for coming through and for having this conversation with us. We were to talk about other things, lakini sasa ilitupata wakati tumepata the news about former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. But we invite you again. Yeah. Come, let's have a different conversation, or rather even the same conversation but from a different perspective, and see how perhaps we can contribute to good governance in this country.
Yeah, thank you for the invitation.
Sure.
I don't take it for granted because I had not seen Muga for quite some time and I was wondering where he has gone. So I realized the city is still in the city.
Yeah. You're very right. Yeah. City is still in the city. Na hata kama angetoka from this city, he would have gone to the other city. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Before we go, actually, there's a comment here I have to read from Sonnet. Sonnet says, "Movie, you are really focused on registration." Oh yes.
Yes.
Guys, you need to register.
Indeed.
Even lazima.
You have no idea how important that is. Afadhali ukuwe na hiyo kura na usipige, lakini ukuwe nayo.
Yeah, that's the point.
All right. Kuna watu, kuna message nyingine? Allah, wacha niangalie. Ninaonesha. Oh yes. Apart from that, a big shout out to everyone who's tuned in. My take, Douglas Kibogong, I've seen all your messages, but unfortunately I can't read all of them. But before we leave, kindly let's observe a minute of silence just to pay tribute to the life that was Raila Amolo Odinga. May Raila rest in peace.